I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I left you guys without notice. I didn't even say I was going to be taking a break. And quite honestly, I didn't think that I was. I got caught up with life and it happens. But we are back.
Blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture.
You are tuned in with Brittany Monet and the Black and Classic podcast, where we talk all things politics and pop culture. Now, I took a break, okay? Life was happening, I was enjoying myself, and I just didn't get a chance to sit down and talk with you guys. So I apologize. I don't have any excuses. I just was enjoying life. I really encourage you guys to do the same. Now, with that being said, this episode today, I wanted to definitely dig into informing you guys about why I say propaganda is such a real thing, because I feel like I throw that term out so much without giving you guys a reason as to why I say propaganda is really, really, really relevant right now and it's in full force. So this all boils down to a conversation or an interview that I watched with Theo Von and Bernie Sanders. If you don't know what Theo Von is, you can Google him. I think he's a comedian. He's very, very funny. After watching this interview, this conversation, I was like, oh, he's very well informed. So it was super interesting. And there was one piece that they discussed that really stuck with me. And I was like, see, I know I'm not crazy. But then I was like, but if everyone doesn't have the awareness or understanding that I have, then I might seem a little crazy, okay? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna break it down. That's what we're gonna talk about. That's what I'm coming to you guys with. So I definitely want to jump into that because I feel as though it's very necessary and it will definitely open a lot of you guys' eyes to what is going on. Now, before I get into that, typically I do like local news, but I was like, you know what? There really hasn't been too much local news. Everything is centered around the presidential election and what's going on and what's going to be happening in November. So I said, you know what? I want to get to know my viewers. I want my viewers to get to know me. And I have these like tabletop questions. So I pulled a few and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna answer them and hopefully you guys answer them in the comments so I can get to know you guys and you can get to know me and not just think I'm just this girl who has this weird fascination with politics and just likes to sit down and talk all things politics. So first up, I have, how are you different from everyone else? I love this question when I picked it because I was like, I'm very different. I'm extremely different. I think I'm different in one very, 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 very obvious way. If you get to know me, I am someone who feels things deeply. I experience things deeply. I don't do anything surface level. I don't do anything 0%. I'm really an all or nothing kind of girl. So if I can't give my 100%, then I most likely don't want to do it at all. So that goes with whether it's work, whether it's friendships, relationships, family, I want to give 100%. And so with some people, it's like, well, you know, they're okay with giving a little here, giving a little there, doing a little there. I can't do that. Either give me all or give me nothing. And I think that's very different than other people. Some people, again, you know, they're okay with having things that are like surface level and like they just don't mean too much, but they enjoy it. I want it to mean something. So everything to me has to have some type of like meaningful, deep connection. And if it doesn't, I just don't want it. So I think that's how I'm different. This question is, who should play you in a movie about your life and why? I love this question because I don't know, my life is not that interesting to me yet. It could get interesting in the next few years. It's not that interesting to me yet. Aside from looks, I could see someone like maybe like Keke Palmer playing me because I'm very dramatic and she's very dramatic. So I definitely could see her playing me. I think that it would be a challenge because in real life, I'm not as theatrical. Like, I'm dramatic, but I'm not as theatrical, right? So I think it'll be a challenge for her to find that balance of like being dramatic, but not having to do it so over the top. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I love Keke Palmer, so I feel like that would be a great choice for my biopic. And then, what's the best toy you've outgrown but still love? I still, to this day, I swear to you, to this day, I still love Bratz dolls. Growing up, I loved to play with my Bratz dolls. I just love them, and I still love them to this day. Like, if I'm ever in a toy aisle needing to buy a toy for a kid for whatever reason, I'm always just like, oh, look at the Bratz, you know? And I think it's just because I have this deep fascination. Again, I love to do things 100%. So I have this deep fascination with fashion. So being able to like have this like miniature thing that I can just dress up how I want and like give it its own style is very, I don't know, I love it. I feel like when I have kids, my kids are gonna be like, at some point they're gonna be like, okay, mom, I can dress myself. And I'll be like, can you though? I don't know about that. So yeah, please pick a question, answer a question, but that's just a little bit more about me. Now let's definitely dive into understanding propaganda. So I wanted to discuss why I feel as though a lot of propaganda is going around. I like to also call it controlled noise. I feel like there's a controlled noise. Although we get a lot of headlines, we get a lot of stories, we get them from all different channels, it's all controlled. And it's all controlled because at any given point, we have, I would say, 3 to maybe 6 mass media companies that control the media, control the news, control print, control movies, music. They control it, okay? So those are, you have Viacom, you have Comcast, you have News Corporation, you have Walt Disney. So you have these companies, you have AT&T, you have these companies, right? And they own all these subsidiaries, and those companies are the places that are like CNN, Time Magazine, BET, MTV, Universal, goodness gracious, what are some other ones? Fox News, ESPN, obviously Disney, right? So they own, right? Each of these companies owns all of those under them. So when we look at that and we break it down, I'm going to be putting up some charts so you can kind of see it as well if you are watching the YouTube video, just so you can get a better visual of what I mean when I say Comcast owns X, Y, and Z companies, Fox owns X, Y, and Z companies as well as print. Some companies may own radio, some companies own movie companies. So you have to understand that when I say it's propaganda, you say, well, this platform said this, and that platform said this, and that platform said this. Yeah, you're changing the channel, but it's all the same company. So you can go to CNN and then go to BET and then go to what do they own? I think they own like Paramount or something. You can go in between all of these, get the same message, and you feel as though now 3 people have confirmed one idea, when actually one company sent out one idea to 3 of their companies to convince you of that one idea. Let that sink in, right? Umbrella. You got the top distributes it to the bottom, and the bottom distributes it to you. And just because it came from 3 different places, you assume that it's 3 different voices when really it's just one company. And that's very, very dangerous. A lot of people don't understand how dangerous that is, especially when these media companies are merging and there's acquisitions and this one's acquiring that one and this one's becoming this, Comcast Warner brand, and Disney wants to go and get this company. Like, it is really scary. And it's scary because when you have one big giant company owning so much, their voice is the only voice that's heard. So they control the noise, they control the chatter, they control the news. You ever watch like a conspiracy theorist and they start running the headlines, and every single clip will show a different news channel from somewhere in the country, specifically the United States, somewhere in the country, where this news channel said the same phrase, and then they'll flash to another channel and it says the same phrase, and they'll flash to another channel and it says the same phrase. That is controlled noise, right? Because this company, whether it's MSNBC, NBC, CNN, whoever, I don't have them memorized. I could pull it up. Let me pull it up so I can get actual with you guys, right? So, yeah. So you have Disney, right? Bob Iger owns Disney, and he owns ABC News. He owns Disney. He owns A&E. Now with this guy, right? If a news story breaks and something needs to be reported on, one message goes out to all the companies. It's not several different messages to several different entities. It's one Disney sending out one message that's going to be distributed. So of course, if you go to an ABC channel, whether it's in Idaho, Utah, Washington, California, if it's in New York, if it's in Delaware, if it's in Florida, if it's ABC, they're most likely having the same script. So yes, if you put them all flashing back to back to back, it looks like it's repetitive, but it's all controlled because it's one company, So if you go to, and perfect example, a lot of people have been to Chick-fil-A. If you go to Chick-fil-A in Kentucky, I don't know if they have them in Kentucky. Just go with me, okay? If you go to Chick-fil-A in Kentucky, and then you go to Chick-fil-A in Massachusetts, guess what they're going to say after they give you your order and you say thank you? Y'all can already fill in the blanks. Exactly. They're going to say my pleasure. Why? Because the corporation, that's Chick-fil-A, has set this standard that after we do this, we say my pleasure. This big news story breaks, here's how we're going to run with this, right? That comes top down. So you're not getting different messages because it's a different channel. It's the same company. So you have Bob Iger, and he has ABC, so he's telling people what to say with ABC. Now we have, at this time, I think this was 2020 that this chart was put together, so forgive me if it has changed, because again, like I said, mergers and acquisitions, right? Now we have Jeff with Time Warner. I do believe this changed because I think Comcast and Time Warner have now joined forces, which again, scary business, okay? Because if you look at this chart, I have it up here, you have Hulu under this Time Warner, you have CNN, Cartoon Network under this Adult Swim, you have the CW, obviously we have Warner Roberts, we have TBS. Then if we look down and we see print, there's Time, which is Time Magazine, then there's Life Magazine, there's video games, then we have music, and then we even have internet. We have investments. So these are companies they're invested in, which again have to share that same ideology of the company that is Time Warner. So we have to be careful. Oh, we even have New Life Cinema I see in there. That's a movie company as well. So we have to be careful when we assume that because it's a different channel, we're going to get a different outlook. No, it's still the same company, if you will, right? Now, this is another one that's very interesting here. So this one here, we have, what was National News? This is Viacom, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So Viacom has BET, Viacom has MTV, Viacom has CBS, Viacom has Paramount, Viacom has Showtime. They have VH1, they have some print, looks like they have books. So think about that, right? They're printing books, Nickelodeon, Showcase, the Smithsonian Channel. So think about when you watch documentaries and things like that. All of that is coming from one company. So if the company is, which now is Viacom, then there it is. They have Showcase, which is a cinema, actual like movie theater. It's a lot that you have to think about. But then they have the internet. So they have TV.com down here. They have TV Guide, CNET. All of those things are very, very important, because in understanding that, you have to understand that they're bringing all of what they own, and pushing it together. So now one person is controlling the noise for all of these different outlets. So now when we look back at propaganda and what's being sold and what's being told, it's just one person dispersing it to all of their, the things that they own, to get us to believe that that's what's real. And it's not. The one I really wanted to touch on, I didn't even know Disney owned Vice. I just saw that as well. And Lifetime and the History Channel. I mean, it's wicked, because back in the day, way before my time, right? You had every like media, like for example, like radio, right? When you go to a different state, there's a different radio. So whether it's like WBV, right? Like whatever the initials are, right? Or like WZUP, if you catch that reference, we hear. So, different cities, different states have their own different radio stations. That's how it used to be for mass media. So if you had television, you had, different coasts, if you will, right? Like the East Coast and the West Coast and the South, right? The Midwest. They had their own media companies that produce media in that, what is the word I'm looking for? Region. Now it's one company dispersing its message, its programming, its content throughout the whole country all at once, because they own so much. And that's very dangerous and very scary, because if they want the people to think one way and to see one message and to believe one thing is true, all they have to do is push the button and disperse it. And now it's on every TV, it's in the movies, it's in the music, it's the books, it's the magazines. All I'm saying is be careful what we run to believe when, okay, somebody owns something and they own a lot of it. Okay. Now the one I really wanted to get to, and this is just a quick little sidebar. News Corporation, Rupert Murdoch. If you have not watched Succession or the I don't know why words are escaping me right now, the documentary on Rupert Murdoch, you definitely should. It's so good. Again, it'll help you understand media and the way we're going to tie this into elections and things like that in just a second. It's very, very interesting and very, very important for you to understand, again, who is controlling the narrative, who is pushing the pen, who is making sure things go, who is making sure things stop. So we have Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is the founder and still the owner at 93 of Fox, which is also News Corporation. So everything under Fox, everything that's entitled to Fox. Then we have FX as well. We have National Geographic, My TV. They have Wireless Group, Fox Music. They have print. And what I really loved and thought was interesting is that they own Wall Street Journal and the New York Post. You have HarperCollins Publishers, which is books. Trying to see what else. It's very, very small, so I can't see too much. But again, when we're reading these things and we really pick it apart and we start to discover like, oh, wait. You own what and what? Oh, okay, now I can totally understand, why there's like basically two messages being sold, because you have big companies getting together, pushing out one message, and they're picking a side. You know what I mean? And so with that, now we're going to carry that into, because that's, I guess you could say the pop culture side of it, right? And then we get into the politics. Now, with the politics, elections are bought. We all know that elections are bought. And I say we all know that they're bought because when you have a candidate who wants to run, they have to campaign, they have to get some money. And the money comes from these same 3 to 6 big mass media companies. Because, and looking at this article, now this article is on WebFX. Who knows who owns WebFX? It's probably Fox. So I think FX is Fox, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that, geez, I can't remember who FX was. Let me tell you right now. You know what? Let's just get the answer. It is. News Corporation is FX. So, hello, this is a Fox company. All right, cool. So you have these big companies and they have to get behind someone who's going to affirm or basically kind of do what they need that person to do. And so they'll say, you know what, we're going to get behind right now, like perfect example in the Theo Von and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was gaining traction. People were ready to vote for Bern. And then the powers that be were like, not so much. We want Joe Biden. Now, if I'm going to get into my conspiracy bag, I believe people wanted Joe Biden because they already knew he was not all the way there. So they were like, you know what? This will be an easy 4 years. We can kind of coast, do what we want to do. We don't got to worry about too much. He's not all the way there. Bernie is a little bit radical. He's going to want to come in strong. He's going to want to actually do things. He's going to want to actually seek change. He's not going to bend and fold and be the puppet that we need him to be. We're going to get behind Joe. Joe will be a better puppet. And that's what they did. And he said after that, basically the switch went off and he was trashed and Joe was the voice, and now we're voting for Joe, and everyone was up in arms and ready to vote for Joe. So it's very interesting because if you have these big companies, you have these people who run the companies, when they say they want someone to vote, and now you have let's see, you have who do we want to go to? You have Disney. Disney wants Kamala. So now, not even Disney. Nope. Perfect example, because I'm gonna make sure this sticks and connects, because y'all have to see this is real life. So we have Summer Redstone. I hope he's still the owner of of the Viacom National Amusements situation. So now they want Kamala, right? They want Kamala. So Kamala goes to BET. Kamala goes to all the CBS TV shows. Kamala goes to MTV. Kamala is on Showtime shows. Kamala's on Nickelodeon. Kamala's popping up in all these places, and you're like, all these places love Kamala, so I must love Kamala. Not knowing who owns all those companies. Who is now saying, you know what, yes, if you want to come here and you want to use our platform to push your narrative, yeah, you can do that, but here's what we want, and then we can give you this money. So for this $100 million for your campaign, make sure you speak to X, Y, and Z. Make sure you speak to that. And then you can get on our platforms. And all is fair in love and war. Then we have those who are into the Fox News. And Fox News says, yeah, of course, we'd love to Fox Live and stream Trump and all of his rallies and all of his peoples and his vice president, and of course we would. But for $250, we'd also like this. And now every time you turn on Fox, people say, oh, well, it's the right. Well, that's what they believe in. So, of course, they're going to put their money behind the company, the person that they believe in, who is then going to push the narrative that they want. They being the owner, the executive chairman of the whole shebang, Rupert Murdoch, Summer Redstone, whatever his name was. All of that is actually happening. And we have to believe it. If you don't believe it, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, the evidence is there. The proof is there. Okay? These people are not hiding this. I don't even think they're shying away from even really, like before, I feel like it might have been covert, or maybe I'm just not realizing it as I get older, but I feel like before it might have been a little bit covert. Now it's just straight up and down, like, you can tell when their money's coming. So when they say, like, oh, the Dems dropped the big bag, it's not the Democrats. No. No. It's not the Democrats. It's these organizations and these companies, these billion-dollar companies that are like, hey, I need that one to win, because if that one's in office, that's my puppet, that's my pawn, that's who I need to make sure all of this keeps working how it's working. And I learned from Bernie in watching that interview, it's called a super PAC. So a super PAC is where it's kind of like a loophole of like, you're not supposed to donate so much money, but if we phrase it this way and we play it that way, then we can give you all this money. And then no one can really come after us. So it's a super PAC, and these big, huge conglomerate media companies and different private corporations, they come in, they give these candidates money, and whoever, like, the best way to say it is big bank take little bank. So whoever's got the big bank, their candidate is up. Okay, so for me, I feel like whoever, like, if you turn on MSNBC, NBC, Bravo, Hulu, I don't know, child, anywhere Comcast is, I feel like if you turn them on, USA, Universal Pictures, I don't know, if you turn it on and you see Kamala, big bank take little bank, because that's $1 billion company. Okay, I know that Elon isn't too fond of Trump at this point right now. I don't know why. I wish I could dig into that, but I don't care too much. So again, big bank take little bank. I would love to see where Amazon is leading. I haven't seen too much yet, but I would love to see. I think Jeff plays it a little close to the chest, but I would love to see where he's leaning, because I know most of this does affect them as well. You know, if we start talking, you know, different taxes and tax cuts and all this other stuff, that affects them as well. So I would love to see, because again, big banks take little bank, and if you have big media companies behind you and pushing you, and they're using all of their television and film networks to make sure that you're popping up where you need to pop up, then I mean, you know, what is it? The proof is in the pudding, essentially, right? Like, I would love to know. I don't know if Google or YouTube is independently run, but I know I don't too much see, like, again, I don't know if it's because of my algorithm or what, but I feel like I watch fairly conservative things. So when I'm watching something and I see Kamala pop up and it's her, like, declaration for you to donate, and I don't see that too much for Trump, I'm like, oh, okay, I see where your money's flowing to. But again, that could just be what my algorithm is showing me. But it is very important for us to know what companies own what, because at the end of the day, those are the ones that are pushing the messages. Those are the ones that are selling us these dreams. And if we don't take the time to says, who owns that and who owns that, then we'll forever be confused and lost and thinking it's all just some type of game. It's really not a game. It's just, you know, there's people up here, there's 6 media companies, and everyone's life is revolved around some form of media, whether you're streaming. And oh, that's another point I wanted to make. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I would forget this. you know, people, when I hear people talk about Tubi, if you know what Tubi is, Google it, girl. Tubi. People love to talk about Tubi and don't realize that Tubi is also owned by Fox News Corp. Yeah. Tubi's owned by Fox. So when people get on and think it's this like super blacked out like streaming platform, it's not. It was literally made by an Iranian American man from California. Like, it is nobody's black streaming platform. What happened was this man made this platform, and of course, during like, you know, right before and mainly into the pandemic, black people made it pop. So of course, when we get into something, we're going to, again, understanding the black dollar, we're going to make something explode and become more popular. So that's where people flooded, right? They flooded there. But what y'all don't know is a Fox company. So I'll let you do with that what you will, but yeah, that's a Fox company. And then I quickly, in understanding that, right, I definitely wanted to jump into understanding that these companies merge together with the quickness, right? So like if something happens with a company where they're looking a little shaky, they're not too strong, they join forces. So Viacom merged with CBS, which became one thing. You have, it's AT&T and Time Warner that merged and became one thing. And it's just, it is literally terrifying. It's terrifying to me because I'm just like, I don't know what will come of this. I think if we let this, it's not even like if we let this happen, but the people that should stop it, aka our government, should stop this, because at some point you're going to have a monopoly. So unless they stop it, but they really can't stop it because those same people gave them the money to be in their position. So really they're in their pocket. So it's like you can't stop the person who paid you. You know what I mean? And so what do you do? Because then you have people like Bernie who are radical, who have the ideas, who want to see changes. They get shut down each and every time because you have huge media conglomerates coming together to snuff those people out and to make sure they don't have a voice. And that's why when I'm like, you know, I'm highly impressed and I love Candace Owens, because you need someone to say something and to say, no, I'm not really going to go with what you want me to go with just because you say it's the way to go. Can't do it. So I didn't want to come and talk you guys' ear off for years and years and years and years. I just wanted to sit down with you guys to kind of break down understanding these media conglomerates and understanding that it's just a few people controlling what we know. And unless we go out and seek different voices and seek different things, we're all going to be listening to one controlled voice, right? And one controlled noise, unless we say, hey, everyone's starting to sound the same, everyone's starting to preach the same rhetoric, something's up. I need to do my own research. And sometimes that means you have to go and listen to the other side. Sometimes that means you have to go and listen to the person that you strongly disagree with, because they may say something to you that sparks just a little bit of, just a little bit of your curiosity. And then you go and you do, again, your own research to find out more. But if we stay stuck listening to one company, Comcast, Disney, News Corp, we stay stuck listening to one, we're never going to be able to really get the full truth. So, I mean, like Big T said, a lot of it is fake news. A lot of it is one person telling you one thing so you can believe that. Because unfortunately, it's better to have us be sleep, be sheep, be meek, not know what's going on, than to question everything they do. Because if we questioned it, then we would really start to see that a lot of this is just smoke and mirrors. It's just who has the most money, who can say what, pay what, and get it done. It's not really to change America. It's not really to make our lives easier. It's not really to bring pride back to our country. No, it's really just, I had 8 billion last year. Next year, I want 15. How can I get that done? And if it means I need to put a certain president in a seat in the White House, I'm going to get that done. And that's just, it is what it is. It is nothing to do with wanting to be the best politician. So don't, I hate to say it, but don't get sold into that dream of, well, this politician wants to do this to better the country and they want to fight for us and they believe in our rights and women empowerment, and they don't give a. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I hate to say it. They do not care. They do not care. And I mean, you really have to even look at the commercials, right? Like, pay attention to the commercials that you'll see on maybe Fox. Again, you may not watch it, but pay attention, right? Now that I'm telling you, pay attention. Watch Fox. Watch the commercials, the companies you see. Then turn to BET. Watch the commercials that you see, the advertisements. It's all there. Like, it's literally all there for you to see. None of it's hidden no more. None of it is undercover. None of it is, yeah, it's I don't know. It's not a secret, right? It's just not a secret. It's there. It's in your face. It's blatant. And if you want to stay asleep and ignore it, then by all means, love, do what you got to do. But I just want to make sure that if you follow this channel, that you are educated and you understand what is going on. Because they are joining forces, merging and acquiring every chance they can get. And that's not good for us. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please, guys, remember to answer the questions. Let me know more about you, because I'm so interested to know about all my viewers and what y'all think and what y'all are all about, right? Yeah. And like I always say, my favorite saying, love it so much. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But if you want to debate, exactly, debate your granny, because I don't give a fuck. Now, with that being said, I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.